Hello, I'm the Toon-Man. I review good or bad anime movies and anime TV shows. When I was a kid, while I was visiting my cousin's house in the Cape Cod of Massachusetts, I remember watching an animated movie that's based on a classic animated TV series produced by Hannah-Barbera Productions, the Jetsons, called Jetsons the Movie.
All for one, one for all. Through joy or sorrow, we're staying together.
Even though my family didn't have a VHS copy of the movie during my childhood, the Jetsons does have potential and qualifications to appear on the big screen in the summer of 1990. It looks good and harmless enough, sort of a theatrical animated spin-off movie from the Jetsons about George gets promoted to become vice president of Space Police Sprockets.
Again?
Canceling Judy's date with Cosmic Cosmo, Elroy's playoffs, and Jane's recycling campaign to move Opening or Asteroid. Little did they know that Mr. Spacely forgot to scan the asteroid to see if there's any life inside that asteroid. So it is up to Jetsons to stop the damage that's inside the asteroid.
Just an average animated family film from Universal Studios before Turner Entertainment Co. bought Hanna-Barbera, and Warner Brothers bought both Hanna-Barbera and Turner Entertainment Co. What really drew my attention into this movie, though, is Morgan Lander's review of the Jetsons the movie from his show, Vaulting.
You know, it's one thing to have bad acting, one thing to have poor comedy, and another to have cliched writing from a decade where Ronald Reagan wanted America to be more laissez-faire. But tossing in an element this dramatic into the mix, you have to know if it adds up. You have to know if it comes together, or else you're gonna look stupid in front of your audience. Now, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's the first film we're doing that's based on our TV show, or at least by a major studio like Universal Studios. We can do whatever we want, whatever the hell we want. And yes, you can do whatever you want. Nothing is holding you back. You can take your original source and make it what it wants to be. You can have the style of animation that was a staple of your work. You can have your story include all sorts of sitcom fodder. But there is something you should know. You can't handle drama very well. You can't toss in something major as environmentalism or endangered species in the mix. You can't toss in a dying civilization or a message this serious to your viewers, because throughout the entire first half, you have been trying to parade them around as lighthearted kiddie fare. There has to be a reason for these things to intersect. There has to be a reason for these things to connect. You can't start off with, in the good-natured future, and then dip down into the darkness with this out of nowhere turn into reality that doesn't even add up well with the tone of your movie. Even though it's an adaptation of your work, you must have understanding of your own source material. You should know the direction you should take your film in. You too should know better. But when everything in your movie fails, the last-ditch effort you have is to make a dramatic switch to make it look like you two are great storytellers and how to make movies. Well, you know what? You don't! You don't know how to make movies judging from what you are doing here! You got to understand how to place this material in better so it doesn't make us feel like you're slamming it into our faces and saying, "Yup, this is what the Jetsons are all about," because I know exactly this is not what the Jetsons are all about! It was the distant future where everything was nice and polite and pleasant without any conflict whatsoever! Barely any conflict I can imagine aside from Hitler spacemen and flying car traffics in the sky. And if you had the dignity to know all that, you would have prevented such a disastrous box office taken of a depraved piece of shit. You vicious bastards!
is harsh. I mean, this is the guy who reviews animated movies that I'm going to review eventually, like...
We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, Animaniacs Wacko's Wish, Mars Needs Moms, and The Simpsons movie.
And this is the animated movie that pisses him off so much? I wonder what's inside that movie that makes him piss him off so much. Come on, kid.
No, even though that this movie did came out in 1990, everybody kept forgetting that Universal Studios' 75th anniversary is actually in 1987. The movie actually starts off with the shot of Spacely's orbiting Ore asteroid. It was late at night and everything was peaceful and quiet inside Spacely's orbiting Ore asteroid, until mysterious shining dots were inside the Spacely's orbiting Ore asteroid, trying to sabotage the machines of it.
Very mysterious indeed.
The next morning, Rosie the robot, voiced by the late Gene Vanderpool, was busy tidying things up around the...
There's that cough again. Polly, wanna guess, miss? I'll bet it's the smog. Up we go. Well, now we've gotten rid of the smog, let's get rid of the snoring.
If you watch the original Jetsons series, have you guys ever noticed that there's no ground to hold the houses, as well as a town with no name?
Even though I don't have time to tell you the backstory of the Jetsons, I'm only going to review the theatrical movie. That's it. But maybe someday.
Or as Barney Rubble likes to put it,
Hey, dude, there's no land to land on.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, Rosie is trying to wake up George Jetson, voiced by the late George Hanlon.
Even though that this is the last time that Joe Hanlon voiced George Jetson until Jeff Bergman took over the role as George Jetson, but I'll get to that a little later, as well as this is the last time that Mel Blanc voiced Mr. Spacely.
We see his son Elroy, voiced by Patrick Zimmerman.
Have a good day, Dad.
You too, Elroy.
Dad?
Yes, son?
You're coming to my baseball game today, aren't you? It's the tournament semifinals.
Sure, Elroy. I wouldn't miss it for the universe.
Starts at 4.
I'll be there.
He's not gonna make it.
Now comes to Judy Jensen. The only problem I have with this movie is the voice recasting of Judy Jensen. In the original series, she's voiced by Janet Waldo. Here, she's voiced by Tiffany. I have nothing against Tiffany as both a singer and a person herself. I never listened to any of her songs outside Jetsons the movie.
That's nice, dear.
Oh, thanks, Dad. You're intergalactic.
I got an idea. Or replace that Janet Waldo, whoever it is, with that Tiffany girl. We gotta attract a younger audience somehow, and she's been famous for like, what? 5 minutes?
I guess you can argue that either the original creators of the original show or the studio executives at Universal Studios wants to modernize the teenage character by replacing the original voice actress with a famous celebrity from the modern age from the late 80s. But in my opinion, this is the most disrespectful recasting I have ever seen in an animated movie that's based on an animated TV show from the 1960s. Anyway, we meet George's wife, Jane Jetson, voiced by Penny Singleton, and lastly we came to Astro, voiced by the late Don Messick.
But this is the last time that Don Messick voiced Astro.
So I forgot to say goodbye.
I love you, George.
I know. I love you too.
Alright, let's move on. We see that Mr. Spacely, voiced by the late Mel Blanc, is having a meeting with the board of directors.
This is the last time that Mel Blanc did the voice of Mr. Spacely, but again, I'll get to that a little later.
Mr. Spacely promised his colleagues that the 1 millionth sprocket will be produced in outer space until he got an urgent message from Gertrude that he lost another one. Until a robot named Rudy 2 to let him know about what's going on Mr. Spacely's orbiting or asteroid. Mr. Spacely calls on Gertrude to think of another person who will push the button. The answer is...
Jetson? I wouldn't use Jetson if Spacely sprockets were going bankrupt. If I needed a transfusion. If I lost my stockholders. My home. If I were penniless. Penniless?
He is expendable.
Perfect.
But he called him again anyway.
When George reports to Mr. Spacely, he tells the good news.
Welcome aboard, Vice President Jetson.
Vice President?
Right. Vice President in charge of the orbiting ore asteroid. Congratulations.
Me? Vice President?
Again?
Good. Then roll up your sleeves. You'll be working overtime. What an asshole!
As the spaceboat game is going, until he makes a final move by doing his trick, what else? The Elroy elevator.
Going up, going down, going up, going down, going in. All right. What's that? My big move, and he wasn't here to see it.
I didn't make it.
Meanwhile, Judy Jetson,
Or as Morgan Langer likes to call her,
Tiffany Jetson.
no, I'm not going to call Judy
Tiffany!
Tiffany Jetson went to a teen club where they're showing a Cosmic Cosmo concert.
Hey, what's your name?
Judy?
Well, Judy, we got a date Friday night.
You know, if George Jetson announced his promotion again at an earlier time, before Tiffany Jetson went to the concert, it would have accompanied this scenario.
but my family is going to be moving to the orbiting ore asteroid. Yeah, my friend Helen's available.
Back in the Jetsons' home, Jane is doing her recycling campaign.
And my recycling.
Hold on. The Jetsons the movie is building up to... Whoa. Environmentalism.
George told everyone the great news that he's been promoted to vice president as well as moving to Spacely's orbiting ore asteroid. Shock of all shocks, it's tomorrow.
I'll start packing.
But tomorrow finally comes one of the most catchiest songs next to You and Me. I do like this sequence and song. It's Staying Together is a happy song. It's about getting together with your loved ones. It does have a great balance of rubbery animation, the CGI as well as the cheap effects.
Every day's a new adventure.
Once they settled into their new home, except for George that is,
Get me off this crazy thing!
He said it! He said it!
they meet one of their new neighbors, who happens to be a robot named Lucy too.
Come meet one of our new neighbors. That's my husband.
What breed is he?
I don't get it.
But Tiffany Jetson found out the bad news that Helen took her date with Cosmic Cosmo.
Doris told Susie, and Susie told Mary, and Mary told Francie, and Francie told me. Helen took my date with Cosmo, and now my heart is totally broken. I'll never be happy again. Never, 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 never. I hate this place.
Oscar ballots are in the mail of 1990, folks. Vote wisely!
Don't worry, kids are all the same.
Okay.
Even though I don't 100% agree with Morgan's opinions, I do agree with Morgan with this one bit from his review of Jetsons the movie.
If the executives wanted to have Tiffany on, could they just let her do the songs and keep Janet Waldo on?
No crap, Sherlock. Every kid in that age knows who Judy Jetson is and how she sounded. It wouldn't make a difference that if they got some hard celebrity to voice her. Anyway, if robot neighbors are not enough, Elroy brings home a green-furred clone version of himself. They belong to the family of the Furbelows. Bertie Furbelow, Gertie Furbelow, and Fergie Furbelow. Voiced by Brad Garrett, B.J. Ward, and Russie Taylor. I kid you not, this is the film debut of Brad Garrett.
We're the Furbelows. Bertie Furbelow, Gertie Furbelow.
How'd you do?
And that's our little Fergie. She's a girl. Hey boys, we got a closet case here.
Okay.
In the plant where George Jetson meets Rudy too. For some strange reason that this is the only employee in the plant, we came across a rap that's really unnecessary.
The ore makes the sprockets. The ore makes the sprockets? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Pack the sprockets into packets. Shack the packets into brackets. For the lockers. For the lockers. Lock the sprocket locker key in the pocket of your jacket. Got the sprocket locker key in my outer jacket pocket.
Meanwhile, we get to look at the mall as part of Mr. Spacely's oasis, while Tiffany Jetson is continuing to be Mrs. Frowny Pants.
Maybe I'll go up to the nature zone.
No, I'm not making that promise again. Nothing can change my mind.
That's true, because there are some sad teen songs when they don't have anyone to be with. To be fair, it is a great song, but come on! It's Tiffany voicing Judy Jetson. There's no need for that.
Sorry for my nitpicking of the casting choice of Judy Jetson. I have nothing against Tiffany as a person, actress, or singer. I promise I won't make any more throughout the rest of this review. Hopefully you'll understand why I don't agree with Morgan Ledger's opinions on the Jetsons movie 100%, apparently.
Even though she's not going to be falling in love with a boy ever again, she comes across another boy who happens to be fall in love at first sight. This is Apollo Blue, voiced by Paul Kreppel, but there's no time for that. We see that Elroy is having trouble getting along with Teddy too, voiced by the late Dana Hill.
My name may be Teddy too, but I'm number one.
Who's indeed cocky as Elroy.
Hey, who happens to be a son of a botch, huh? Oh, what?
Speaking of which, when George is doing the ceremony, both Jane and Lucy try to get Elroy and Teddy to get along, but they still don't get along. But when things are going smoothly, until the machines go all haywire, Elroy saves Rudy too from the sprockets, but then they become friends.
That's character development, everybody.
The machine is sabotaged yet again, which makes the sprockets to be catapulted everywhere, and at everybody. So after George fractured about and gets scolded by Spacely twice in the same movie, meanwhile at the Nature Zone, where both Tiffany Jetson and Apollo Blue are playing music, then comes to...
Give me one reason why you look so sad. A heart like yours wasn't made for that. Give me your hand,
the best damn Tiffany song ever.
Give me some time and I swear to you, every night
That's another thing I love about this movie. Not only it does have the catchiest song next to Staying Together, both the animation and the visuals are both creative and imaginative. This is some of the most imaginative imagery that you'll never ever see in a Hanna-Barbera movie.
Now, let's take a commercial break.
This episode of the Toon-Man is brought to you by Wendy's. You'll never find a better meal everywhere else. That is the Wendy's way.
On the plus side, nobody's gonna steal my lunch.
My daughter Wendy said, Dad, you gotta see Jetsons the movie. It's cool.
Now Wendy's has a fun way for your family to meet the Jetsons. Just order the Jet Pack, a delicious quarter-pound single and a large drink, and we'll give you a free Jetsons the Movie cup.
I guess I'm just old-fashioned.
That George is my kind of guy.
Come in for a Jet Pack and your free Jetsons the Movie cup, only at Wendy's.
When you drive to Wendy's and order a single, you get more beef than the Whopper or the Big Mac. At Wendy's, you never have to ask, where's the beef?
Elroy noticed something's very wrong with the glitches of the plant. Elroy decided to go investigate it. Then we figure out one of the culprits who's been sabotaging the plant. It was an Ewok Care Bear-like hybrid thing called
Close enough.
One of the Grungies takes them down to the asteroid. We see the other Grungies live in a civilization in a Fraggle Rock-like community. And here's the scene that makes Morgan piss him off so much.
Oh no! What are we doing?
We're destroying their home.
Okay, since Morgan did his own rant of his own review of Jetsons the movie, I'm gonna do a speech about that in a nice, calm way instead of an angry tone like Morgan Ledger did. You know, there's one thing to have either good or bad acting. One thing to have either good or poor comedy. In another thing to have a decade to have cliched writing or a time where George W.H. Bush wanted America to be fair. But tossing in an element like this into the mix, you need to know if it adds up. You know if it comes together, or otherwise you're gonna embarrass yourself in front of your audience. Now, I know that William Hanna and Joseph Barbera are not around anymore, but let's pretend they're still alive. Now, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, I know what you two are thinking. Oh, it's the first animated movie that's based on our TV shows. Twice that are distributed by Columbia Pictures, and the Jetsons movie is being distributed by a major studio like Universal Studios. We can do whatever we want. Whatever the heck we want. Nothing's holding you back. You can take your original source and make it wants to be. You can have a style of animation or your own. You can have your cliche father of a sitcom. There is something you should know. You can't handle drama very well. Okay, you sort of handle drama very well with both Charlotte's Web and Heidi's Song and Cindy's drama in Hey There, It's Yogi Bear. But you can't toss in a dying civilization or endangering your species into the mix and have you into a lighthearted kiddie fair. It has to be a reason for these things to intersect. Yeah. There has to be a reason for these things to connect. But you can't start in the good nature future of this out of nowhere turn into reality that's that's add up to the tone of this movie. You're making an adaptation of your own work. You really must have an understanding of your work. You should know to take your film in. When everything in this movie either succeeded or fails, the last ditch effort that you have to make a dramatic switch, that you two are great storytellers and know how to make movies.
Get on with it.
I hate to say this, but I do have to agree with Morgan on this. You two...
Yes! Get on with it!
You don't even know how to make... movies about judging what you two are doing.
Get on with it!
Oh, fine! Stupid Morgan and stupid rant.
So they meet up with George being tied up.
I'm finally a vice president after years of yes, Mr. Spacely. Absolutely, Mr. Spacely. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Spacely, now that I'm a vice president, my family wants me to close your plant and lose my job. Just as I reach the top, no. And that's final.
Wow. And I thought Fred Flintstone was the most stubborn dad in cartoon history.
As more of his family and his new friends continue to lecture George about this, Mr. Spacely turns on the plant and causes more destruction and nearly causes murder on the Grungies and even his own kind.
Elroy!
Don't worry, Elroy's okay.
The Jetsons and their new friends back inside the plant. George is going to put a stop to all this. How? By putting his finger on a hole which makes the plant turn off.
Lying old goat. You did, didn't you?
So they hired the Grungies so they don't need the Jetsons anymore. So they say their goodbyes as soon as they leave.
Look, Dad, it's the Grungies.
The Grungies thank George.
And that was Jetsons the movie. And boy, it was great.
Besides for my nitpicks of casting of Tiffany as the voice of Judy Jetson, but the animation is modern for Hannah-Barbera around that time, especially with...
Okay, let's get on with it.
The ass!
With the early use of CGI, but the two songs from Tiffany are a delight to hear. It was originally to be released in December 1989, but it was pushed to early July of 1990 to avoid the competition of the two animation titans, The Little Mermaid and All Dogs Go to Heaven, which happened to be released on the same day, and even the tie-in to The Fantastic World of Hannah-Barbera at Universal Studios Florida, before it got replaced by Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast and the current Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. But unfortunately, it became a box office failure because it had a significant marketing budget that overshadowed its $20 million gross. It was heavily criticized by reviewers and lacked a compelling story, and despite it being a big screen adaptation of a popular show, but it did have a cult following among some fans who appreciated its retro-futuristic style and technique upgrades from the original series, despite its commercial failure and a narrative that some critics found lacking. But sadly, George O'Hanlon died from a stroke after he recorded the lines from Jetsons the movie, because due to that he was blind and had a limited mobility. Mel Blanc died during production too because of the complication related to both chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and coronary artery disease. But one last good thing about Jetsons the movie, that this movie is dedicated to both of them. That is so heartwarming.
Well, Morgan, now that I gave the Jetsons movie a positive review and you dare to give my cousin's favorite movie since childhood a negative bashing, what do you have to say for yourself?
The sooner I forget this piece of space junk, the better I live.
You're too goddamn rude, and serves you right for giving us that scenario, Minerva Mink fans like me, a scenario of if Minerva Mink sucking the watermelon like Julie Brown did in Medusa. You Minerva Mink hater. There's lots more in this wonderful anime world of ours, so be sure to join me on my next anime movie review. Till then, this is the Toon-Man saying, tune you later.